Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide. Time zones are still a thing. And holy good fuck, StreamYard seems to have left the way you navigate this shitstroll of a back end the same as it was last week, which is indeed better than most times. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I'll say a couple of hellos. First in was Mr. Budgie Burger. Welcome aboard. We will have the best comments on the internet, I can tell you that. May recommend 1987 called Sunk, Sunk, Sunk by Jackdaw with Crowbar. No, but Budgie, I do have a treat for you. We're going to have some Eddie Cochran tonight because we're also on the anniversary of his death, more or less. It's in April, so we're going to have an Eddie Cochran number tonight to mark that, which I know you will enjoy. We've got the Waffle House in. Welcome aboard. Thank you for coming. Anglo Brother, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for all your support. Loomy's in, and he's up late again. I'm going to guess there may be some alcohol involved. Rich, what about you, chum? I got your email and I sent you a reply. I'll come back to you in a moment or two. Tricky Woo, welcome. Glad to see you here. Oh, the wonderful, the amazing, the sexy Emma G is in. Thanks for coming along. Love you loads and loads. And there's Bass is in. What about you, chum? Right. And with that, I will move swiftly on to my shoutouts. And what order we're going in? The first one is shows I like to give a shout out to. First one is Robin, Courage is a Cure, a girl from Australia who hopefully will be on the end of the month show next week. I'm waiting for confirmation back. She had took a little bit of a step back because she'd become overworked. However, I have seen that she's back active again. To send her an email after this show, and hopefully she will be on next week's stream. Oh, I can tell you that Sansom has let me know that he is available for next week's stream, so he will be on that as well. And Sansom, if you watch this back or if you're lurking, thanks very much. I went to put the link in the Waffle House secret chat, and Sansom had already done it and left a really nice note. So thanks, Sansom. Thank you for that. The other person, yeah, it was a good stream. Well, as much as I've seen of it. But unfortunately, I have to say that I'm much like Anglo, and I was watching that in bed, and I didn't see all of it. The sleeping attacked me. So there you go. Oh, live stream once pitched and you can never live it down. Yeah, I know. I know. Sorry, Luma. Sorry. I just thought it was because possibly it was why you were up late. But and it's all good natured, friendly banter, mate. I don't mean any harm. And If you're sensitive about that, I will bear that in mind. Amanda Lee's in. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along. Amanda Lee's out and about. Take care of herself. Thank you very much for coming and hitting the like, Amanda. That's good support, and thank you so much. Now, other things I want to give a shout out to is this man here, Rich RPW Media, live streams every Friday night from 11 o'clock GMT. He also has a website that has a lot of information on it. If you want to go, you can troll back there for all the stories. And Rich works like a dog. He covers pretty much everything that's going on in America, and he does good content and very well presented as well. So if you're not already sub to him, but I think everybody in here is, but if you're not, get yourself over to Rich. Now I need some liquids. What else am I doing? Oh yes. The other one. Lumi's been writing. Yeah, I know you can. I know you can. Yeah, we're all good. We're all good, mate. Yeah, Lumi's been writing again. And Brad saying, yeah, we will come on to that at some stage, the near far, wherever you are. Also, fucking that every fucking night bullshit. And yes, I will say that there was room for both Jack and Rose on that fucking tour. We'll get to all of that. We will. But Brad, thanks very much for coming along. We're also going to play your poem in a bit, which is fucking excellent work. I'll drop the link in for that as well. Captain Pack is in. What about you, Sean? Welcome aboard. It is quite a nautical stream, so welcome aboard is more fitting than normal. The Titanic skipper was from Stoke, like same Sansom and Anglo. Stoke is driving, you know it's if a Stokey's driving, you'll know it's an insurance job. There were claims of that, but I honestly don't believe them. There's a couple of bits about that story that do not ring true in any way, shape, or form. But we will get there. Now, the other show I want to give a shout out to is where'd he go? Where'd he go? Yes, the one, the only, the Dave Waffle House. Dave Waffle streams live every weeknight from 8 p.m. If you want the half-hour intro with Monday Club Records, which is all very good music, by the way. And also Monday Club Records has their own channel. If you want to go and look for that, you'll get more of the music similar to you find in Dave's intro. But Dave's Waffle House is the home of the Friday night duck race, the best duck race that there is on the internet. Last night it was won by Captain Packer, and he indeed did win a duck. It's phenomenal. What I want to impress on everybody is that if you want to build a community and hold that community together over a period of time, you're not going to do it with hate. You're going to have to do it with binding together and doing things that you fucking enjoy. And the Waffle House is one such place where you can call in. There's good banter. Everybody gets on with each other. It's a really nice place to sit and chill out, and you'll meet some good friends. So the type of work that Dave's Waffle's doing, while it's not overtly political, it is indeed making a difference, which is why I support it as fervently as I do. The other thing I will say is that Dave Waffle did indeed take the whole pothole situation to the council. He made relevant complaints. He went about it in the right way. He CC'd in other councillors. He gave them a pacer job, and he has indeed had his potholes fixed. And that has made me so very pleased. That is good. I really like that. Yep. And the duck races are rigged. It's a sham. Captain Two Ducks Packer. And what else am I going to give a shout out to tonight? Yep. I'm going to, I've seen an event advertised by Liverpool Psalm Association are hosting this this event. Now, granted, I'm getting the information to you a bit late because you can't go because it was indeed tonight. But check this out. Liverpool Psalm Society proudly presents a St. George's Day, Saturday, 18th of April, a night of entertainment featuring, I will zoom this up, Carson's Young Volunteers. That would be a flute band. The Pride of the North will be another flute band. Heroes of the Psalm will be a flute band. Imperial COD, I'm going to take a guess that would be Corpse of Drums. Star of Toxif, CB, that would be a concertina band. The concertina is like a very small accordion that's more 50p shaped than the normal accordions. Duke of Lancaster, AB, that'll be an accordion band. There's going to be a DJ. AJ the DJ is on. Ellie White, a cabaret singer, and this is in the New Derry Social Club. £3 in for a night, sit and listen to all that fucking patriotic music in Liverpool. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Also, you all might want to consider why on my Facebook timeline I'm getting notifications for St. George's Day's event in England and you're not. Because that's quite fucking scary given the fact that most of you live in England and I do not. But there you go. But I'm going to point out these events as and when I see them. 1 second, because I need to cough and sneeze. Oh, boss, you definitely do. The colloquial name for them is the Sash Bash. I've been to more than one, and they're generally good. What that is you've got the flute bands the bands that I live stream and show you videos of and whatnot. You've got that going on inside a room indoors. It's fucking class, and everybody has a sing along. It's great. So there's that. Now, what else was I wanting to do? I'm gonna stop that screen. Right. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, I do have other things to talk about. The first one is, as you are all aware, that there was no live stream from me last Saturday night. Emma G and I were celebrating our 10th anniversary. Emma has put up with me for 10 years, and it has been absolutely wonderful. The best 10 years of my life. I will say that last Saturday night did not just quite go as planned, because we had booked many months in advance. We booked the show that we're going to go to. It was I can't even remember the name of it now, but it was based upon the audience as a jury, and they show a live court case and present the evidence, and the jury gets to decide if the person was guilty or innocent or whatever. And at around about 5 o'clock, whenever Emma was had arrived down to me, and we were checking exactly what time the show started so we could figure out food. It turned out that the show started at fucking 2:30 in the afternoon. So, needless to say, we did not get to see that show because it had been and gone. So, nice bit of advice for everybody. If you're going out and you've booked your tickets fucking 10 months in advance, maybe check the exact show time like a week before and make sure that you don't miss it. However, Emma and I did indeed have a a total fuck up. I will say, the one thing I will say is, oh yeah, yeah, that would be it. Yeah, of William McFadden. Let me tell you a story of honor and glory. Young Belfast soldier William McFadden by name. For king and for country, young William died bravely as he won the Fee on the fields of the Somme. Gone with the snowflakes that melt on the river. Gone with the first dirty rays of the dawn. Like foam from a fountain, the mist of a mountain. Young Private William McFadden of the Ulster Volunteers. Sorry about my very poor singing voice and what I've just. Hello, hello. All right. Sorry, I had a bit of. Oh yeah, I like that tune too. Uh, yeah. Oh no, we're back again. Hopefully, are we back now? Yep. So William McFadden was helping with distributing hand grenades, and the pin came out of one. It fell back into the box, and William put himself over the top of the box of hand grenades, and it absorbed the explosion, and he became missed. That's why he's got no grave, because they couldn't find anything left to bury. Uh, but he was the first person to get awarded the Victoria Cross on the 1st of July in battle. So there's that. Uh, right, where was I before I got distracted? Yeah. Oh, Lofer. Liverpool has a Somme Society, and they parade and hold events and whatnot. Yeah, you got sidetracked. Did you find? Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what I will say. This lady here, Emma G, took the Horlicks in very, very good. Well, not good humor, but there was no screeching and whining. Uh, she accepted that we'd had a fuck up. We just had to reorganize. Uh, what we did that night, we also, it was a bit of a. It wasn't what we had planned, but as with every other moment that I get spent with Emma, I enjoyed it. I hope she did too. Uh, but it was a bit of a Horlicks. This is true. There was nothing to be gained from making a scene, so she didn't. Uh, one of the things that Emma is just a wonderful, kind human being, and doesn't make a drama out of or make more of things than they should be, which is actually quite humbling. Yeah, and I need to stop talking about that before I start blubbering like a fucking idiot on the internet. So that would not be good. But it wasn't the night we planned, but we made the best of what we had, which is what a lot of life's about. It's about making the best of what you've got. And Emma is the best thing I've ever had. So that's where we are. Yes. And so you should. Now, what else was I going to talk about? Oh, yes. I do have another thing that is very important. Yeah. That was 10 fucking years ago I said that. Emma has been sending me little messages from the marking things from between we met and where we are now. And the other day was the anniversary of the day where I told Emma that I thought I loved her, and that was like only after, I don't know, 6 days or something like that. It wasn't very long, and I says, I think I love you, and she keeps reminding me that. But the fact of the matter is, I know I love you. So there's that. Yes. Now, the other thing you might have seen was the England Day duck race. That Sansom stream that is up on the England Day YouTube channel. Aww. Brad's parents met 51 years ago today. Shh. Anglo plays shh. Yes, I did indeed. I did indeed get that message as well. And I was trying to be subtle, but Emma decided that no, that was not going to be subtle at all. See, Anglo, see what you started? Look, Emma will be the first to know. Anglo, see if it happens. Never mind the invite. You're coming as best man, cunty bollocks. There you go. You don't need to run out for a suit anytime soon. But yeah, if Emma gets the invite to our wedding, you're getting the invite to come as best man. There you go. That's official. Now, the other thing. Now that I am sidetracked, that was indeed. That was Emma filming and me catching ducks. But and we do that each year. Packet's going to be page boy. We'll get everybody involved now. Yes, that was me and Emma doing that duck race, and I have an announcement. The 2030 England Day duck race shall take place in England. We are not exactly sure where. I'm going to talk to Pekka. I'm going to talk to Dave Waffle about places where there may be a stream that's suitable. And you've got 4 fucking years. So what you need to do, get yourself a coffee jar, put £1 in it every week, because England Day duck race 2030 will be the 5th year of England Day. That duck race is being run in England. And the idea will be this. The people who are involved around this channel and the Dave Waffle House channel will be getting invites. We'll be posting this. River Trent, Staffordshire. That could be a good call. That could be a good call. And what you do is we'll figure out where it's going to be. No, it'll not be in the Woodlander place. It'll be somewhere it's open to the public, because only members of the Woodlander Initiative should be on Woodlander land, and I am not a member, and nor will I be. Not because I dislike the programme or anything, but because it's in England and I live in Ulster, and if those things Brad saying we'll put them in the Thames Estuary, but the idea is going to be we're going to find somewhere that is accessible, that we can have a duck race, and everybody come, bring their picnic, bring their barbecue. We'll bring a ghetto blaster. We'll get some way of creating some music. We'll have a duck race, and we'll all come together, have something to eat, and Southend, Hill End. And it'll give everybody a chance to actually come and take part in the duck race and watch it happening. And I believe that should be good fun. And I'm hoping to get you all involved. So, like I say, get a coffee jar every week, put £1 in. You'll have a couple of £100 by the time it comes around to pay for your travel and your barbecue and whatnot, and we'll all have a thoroughly good day. And yes, I will be talking about this every fucking week from now until it happens in 2030. This is the build-up. It's official. It's been said live on the internet. I've said I'm going to do it, and I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And I'll know that. Yeah. So that's coming up. Be advised. Now that all that's said and done, I think, let's see. Right, okay. We're not finding this. Yep, there we go. We have found it. We're going to have Brad James's poem that was done for England Day. It is a work of art. It is fucking epic. Sansom helped out with the music and with the video, and they have both did a really amazing job. Check this out.
I sing a sonnet of this land, in part the depths of legacy. Cricket fields, Blackpool sand, are warm nubs of our memory. White cliffs, numinous, ancient, weighted by the souls of the Anglos. Our heritage, bound in sediment, is real blood and historic mythos. I rhyme a right of our country, intone collective recollections. Of old, the roots and our family, together and without invasions. Rolling hills, rivers, our very nature. Towns, pubs, laws, country gardens. All a Magna Carta of a great culture. Never permit how it fades or hardens. I hum the hymns of our divine nation, of God-given home of birth, this soil. Sprouts oak, free branching passion. Acorns root our people through toil. Our spirits are linked and tied right here. There is no spare England to try again. Take naught from our land, are we clear? We'll weather the storm clean from its rain. I bellow the ballad of England out loud. This realm of ours doth stay. With strength we make ourselves proud. We'll save England, there's no other way.
Absolutely class bit of work. Really, really excellent. Couple of people slipped in here. Blackjack Guitar, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming along. Linda, I don't think I said hello to you properly. Friend from down under, sorry. Special K with the acids in. Looters is in. If I've said you twice, I'm sorry. But I forget who I've said hello to, and the Special K and acid is in. Right. Thank you all for going. It is. It's fucking. It's class. And if you want this, if you want to read more of Brad's writing, which is actually very good, that link there is for his Substack. Lots of content comes out in that. He's a prolific writer. Get yourself subscribed, and feel free to share those links far and wide. Now, with that, we will get on to the Titanic. And I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of it to start with. Share screen. And this is actually coming from the United States government in the international section. I think I'm going to make that a little larger. Zoom it in. Let's see how this looks on the screen. Yep, that should be readable. Oh, Commander. What about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along. Near, far, yeah, all that. We will get to that. We will get to the Titanic film and Jack and Rose and all of that. And Emma G has informed me that she definitely would have made space for me on that door. And I believe her. But I also believe that I would have got us into one of those lifeboats. But anyway, this is RMS Titanic history and significance. The RMS Titanic is perhaps the most famous shipwreck. Yeah, just checking that was on the screen and that I'm not muted. In our popular culture, the Titanic was a British registered ship in the White Star Line that was owned by a U.S. company in which a famed American financier, John Perpoint J.P. Morgan, was a major stockholder. The Titanic was built in Belfast, Northern Ireland, by Harland and Wolff. I'm going to come back to that at the end of this and show you why I chose the picture that I did for the thumbnail, although it is quite grainy. It was built by Harland and Wolff for transatlantic passage between Southampton, England, and New York City. It was the largest and most luxurious passenger ship of its time and was reported to be unsinkable. Nobody actually said that it was unsinkable. I believe that the quote was more akin to, because of the watertight compartments, the Titanic was like its own lifeboat, but nobody actually said it was unsinkable. The Titanic launched on May 31st, 1911, and set sail on its maiden voyage from Southampton on April the 10th, 1912, with 2,240 passengers and crew on board. On April the 15th, 1912, after striking an iceberg, the Titanic broke apart and sank to the bottom of the ocean, taking with it the lives of more than 1,500 passengers and crew. Mostly crew. While there has been some salvage outside the major hull portions, most of the ship remains in its final resting place, 12,000 feet below sea level and over 350 nautical miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. Its famous story of the disaster and human drama has been and continues to be recounted in numerous books, articles, and movies. Titanic has been recognized by the United States Congress for its national and international significance and in many ways has become a cultural icon. The disaster also resulted in a number of memorials around the world. In the United States, there are major memorials in Washington, D.C., New York, and Windsor, Derry. Harvard University is another major memorial commemorating Henry Elkins Widener, a victim of the sinking. So let's get to the investigation. The sinking of the Titanic was one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history and quickly became the catalyst for change. The United States Congress held hearings on the casualty that resulted in a report and measures to improve safety of navigation. Similar investigations were held in the United Kingdom. The international community readily came together for the purpose of establishing global maritime standards and regulations to promote safety of navigation. The most important of which was the Convention of the Safety of Life at Sea, widely regarded as the most important of all international agreements on the safety of merchant ships. So what they're saying is this sinking was so unexpected and lost so many lives that we looked at it and we changed the regulations about how we do things. And that is the lasting legacy. Particularly the changes to after the Titanic, they decided that a ship should have enough life rafts that all of the people on board the ship can fit in it. That's crazy. Because prior to that, there was no requirement. In fact, what had happened was there was regulations on how many lifeboats you had to have on your ship and how many people that they had to accommodate. But as ships became bigger, the requirements for lifeboats stayed the same. So it's not that the people who built the Titanic or setting it off had broken any rules. In fact, they had more lifeboats than was required by law. However, the laws had not kept pace with the size of the ships and the developments, and that's what caused that problem. Radio acoustic ranging navigation, developed by the US Coast and Geodetic Survey and NOAA, a NOAA predecessor agency, in 1924, had its roots in the sinking of the Titanic. Transmission and reception of sound waves led to the invention of sonar. USCGS and hieroglyphic officers around the world gasped at the power of sonar as an underwater search tool and also as a way to measure the depths of the ocean. Today, accurate and precise nautical charts are produced with the data acquired from survey vessels equipped with echo sounding technology. So these are all things that came to pass after the sinking of the Titanic. To be clear, we would have developed these things eventually, but what the Titanic did was put the issues front and center and caused people to look at them a bit more seriously. The discovery of the Titanic wreck site by a team of explorers from the United States and France. The wreck of the Titanic was discovered on September the 1st, 1985, by a joint American-French expedition led by Dr. Robert Ballard of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and Jean-Louis Mitchell of the French Research Institution for Exploration of the Sea. The wreck was found approximately 350 nautical miles off the Canadian coast of Newfoundland in international waters 2.5 miles below the ocean surface, a depth of 12,500 feet or 3,800 meters. Shortly after the discovery, Dr. Ballard testified before the United States Congress to encourage the enhancement of legislation to designate the wreck as a maritime memorial. In July 1986, a plaque was placed on the RMS Titanic, recording its discovery the previous year and calling for the wreck to be left undisturbed in the memory of those who perished aboard her. In 1987, a United States company working with a femur returned to the wreck and began to salvage in artifacts from the artifact field. For more information on salvage, please visit our related salvage page. We will not be doing that. Quick question: any idea what they were actually looking for whenever they found the Titanic? Because that's not all they were searching for. What had happened was the Americans had lost a couple of submarines, and they were down there. They were down somewhere close to there, and they sent this ship out to find the submarines. And the deal was, if they found the submarine, then they could go have a nosy for the Titanic after they had done that classified mission, which has since been reclassified or declassified. So they were looking for American submarines, and the searching for the Titanic was the cover story. Commander, I'm going to look for that now. Was it the Heart of the Ocean? Exactly. Commander even has the names of the submarines. That's exactly what they were looking for. USS Scorpion and USS Thrasher. They were out looking for that, but they couldn't. The American government couldn't send the ship out to search for those two subs because then they hadn't told the outside world that they were missing. So the looking for the Titanic was the cover story, but the guy who was doing it had a new way of working out where to search, and he cracked it in really good time. So I'm just scrolling back down through the comments. You think the whole story is about fishy? Right. Okay, let's continue on with this. Recognizing the shipwreck as a site of great historical and cultural significance, Congress passed the RMS Titanic Memorial Act of 1986, directing the United States to begin negotiation of an international agreement to initiate multinational conservation efforts and to develop guidelines for exploration, research, and salvage. It also calls for the recognition of the site as an international maritime memorial on behalf of all those who lost their lives in the tragic sinking. The RMS Titanic shipwreck holds the exceptional national and international significance. It is one of the greatest jewels of the world's maritime heritage. The national significance. As a British registered American-owned ship, Titanic represents a tangible link to the United States maritime history. The ship was owned and operated by British White Star Line, a subsidiary of the American-owned International Merchant Marine Company of New Jersey, which industrial tycoon J.P. Morgan was a majority shareholder. Look, I'm going to clear this up. See, whenever you're building really large, really expensive things, there's going to be a really fucking rich person behind it, because we couldn't build anything without their money. They put the money up front, they build the thing, and then they make their money back on it over the course of its life. That's how we do everything. So while I'm not going to attempt to defend JP Morgan's character, I think to make that amount of money, he has exploited a shitload of people. However, I don't think that he built this ship and had it sunk. Let's just get that clear. Discovered in 1985 by American Ocean. Yes, Commander was going to come on that as well. I honestly don't think it was sunk on purpose. I honestly don't. After this, I'm going to, whenever I get through this one, put all your theories and I will give you my opinions. Where was I? It was discovered in 1985 by American oceanographer Robert Ballard and a team of Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and their foreign partners. The Titanic remains closely connected to the academic fields of US maritime history and marine science. As of its 100th birthday on May 31st, 2010, the Titanic is an archaeological resource site. As defined within the Archaeological Resource Protection Act, artifacts and data recovered from the wreck site continue to advance scientific understanding of the proceedings of underwater archaeological preservation and biodistortion. Titanic has inspired a creative genius of lawmakers, historians, filmmakers, and ocean enthusiasts worldwide. It has provided a storyline for countless books, articles, films, and documentaries, including the Academy Award-winning James Cameron mega hit Titanic. These stand as testament to the exceptional significance of the shipwreck has assumed in pop culture and American history. However, the significance of the ship's status as a cultural icon is surpassed by its historical significance as the ultimate memorial in honor of those lives that were lost during the sinking. Of the 306 American passengers on board Titanic, 119 were never rescued. Interesting way to word that. The surviving passengers, many of whom lost family and friends in the disaster, returned to the United States. In 2006, at the age of 99, Lillian Apsound, the last living American survivor of the Titanic, died in Massachusetts, and not at the wreck site. At age 5, she lost her father and 3 brothers, including her twin brother, the 5-year-old Carl. On the Titanic, other passengers on board of the Titanic were foreign-born immigrants traveling to the United States. A poignant and powerful artifact recovered from the wreck site was a declaration of intent to become a United States citizen, filled out by a passenger who did not survive the sinking, but whose well-preserved luggage was recovered. This artifact is a reminder that most of these individuals did not survive, and with them died their American dream. More of them survived than you probably think. Today, the tragedy of the RMS Titanic represents the hardship and struggle of the many immigrants faced during this period as they set off across the Atlantic in their hopes of a better life and brighter future for themselves and their families. Their lives tell a story of the millions of Americans who today are living legacy of immigrants who made the same transatlantic voyage on the RMS Titanic. The story of the Titanic is a story of America. Just while we're on this subject, Where do you think most of those immigrants were from? I'll give this a minute or two. Put down the countries that you think were most represented within the third class passengers, the series passengers. Yeah, that would be a no. Pies and Italians? No. The answer would be Swedes. Swedish were the largest one. Swedish were the largest one. There was almost as many Syrians as there was Irish people. Although the films have constantly distorted that, yeah, there was a good bunch of English. Yep, Swedes, English. There was Swedes, English, Irish. There was Irish there. About a quarter of them were Irish. The Swedes were a larger group, and the Syrians were pretty close to the Irish. So it's whenever you see this in the film and they're all Irish, that's not quite how that all went down. But why let a good story go to waste? Much of the current international law relating to the maritime shipping and safety developed as a result of the RMS Titanic tragedy and the immediate aftermath of its sinking in April 14, 15, 1912. The Titanic sparked a lawmaking frenzy, resonating throughout the international community. From this fervor emerged the adoption of the first international convention for the safety of life at sea. It has been amended several times and is still the most important treaty addressing maritime safety. The establishment of the International Organization to Address Maritime Safety and the International Maritime Organization may be traced to Solace and the Titanic. In celebrating its 35th World Maritime Day, the IMO also recalled the 100th anniversary of the disastrous sinking of the Titanic. That was a catalyst for the establishment. And the rest of that is sources. So we can drop that out. I will come back to this. So I'm just checking through the comments. Fighting Age North Africans. Yeah. I don't think that ever happened, but there is no God knows what those people did in their last hours. But I don't think anybody really took kids in and expected them to go to sleep and sleep through it. That was not going to happen. No. Where did I want to go to next? Because I did want to go to something next. Yeah, total dramatization. Yep, here's what I want to do next. Where is that picture? I'm going to put the thumbnail up and show you exactly what it is. Share screen, window. This is a mural on the Newton Arch Road. Well, this is a mural that was on the Newton Arch Road in East Belfast, which pictures the Titanic and says Harlem Wolfont. This mural is no longer there. But if I zoom this in and make it even more grainy and shuffle it over to the side, you see this yellow structure here, just above the Union banner. That is the cranes from Belfast, Harland Wolff Shipyard in Belfast. That's not exactly where it was built. It was built a little bit further on down the yard from where those cranes are now. But you're looking right at its birthplace there. The other thing that I want to make a point of saying is that the first deaths in the Titanic occurred not in the Atlantic Ocean, but on that ship while they were building it. And the only plaque that I know of to the men that died building that ship is on gantry cranes. Sweet, what about you? Welcome aboard. Thank you for coming along. The only plaque for those men is on the wall of the Harland Wolff Welders, which is the social club on D Street. The workers of the shipyard built. That's where they go for their drinking. And it is also locally known as the ice cream parlor because it's on a Friday or Saturday night. It's two twirls around the dance floor and outside for a poke. Just like you know how it is. So there's that. Take Two drum covers. What about you, chum? Right. Now, we're going to finish this up. We've got a couple of facts that we're going to look at. Yeah, Harland and Wolff. That's who built that. It was Ulster Coolies from Harland and Wolff shipyards that built that ship. And if you're ever in Belfast and you go down to the dry docks, the dry dock where the Titanic was built, it's still there. You can see it. And if you look at the doors in the dry dock, they were made from the same type of steel, the same rivets, the same everything that you would have seen on the actual ship itself. It's quite a cool thing to go and have a look at. The Titanic walk is quite good. Field Marshal Don Browning, Hoyt, welcome aboard. Now, this is a little bit from the from Royal Museums Greenwich, and we're going to take a look at the facts, and I'm going to guess that there's going to be 10 facts, but sure, we'll see. On the night of April 14th of April 1912, the passenger ship RMS, that's Royal Mail Ship Titanic, hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean during its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. Approximately 2,200 passengers and crew were on board. Titanic, operated by White Star Line, was only equipped with 20 lifeboats designed to hold around 1,178 people, far fewer than the number of passengers on board. As the ship sank, the crew evacuated passengers under the Women and Children First Protocol, which is actually called the Birkenhead Drill, and was developed whenever the HMS Birkenhead went down and the men were brought onto deck and made to stand the attention while all the women and children got into the lifeboats. Fortunately, in that case, there was enough lifeboats and the men got on the lifeboats after it, but that's where the Birkenhead Drill and the Women and Children First comes from. Birkenhead, indeed, in Liverpool. Another thing that we have put into the zeitgeist and culture. However, because crew were ill-equipped for the eventuality of the ship sinking during the panic, many of the lifeboats were launched on their capacity. Approximately 1,500 people died, with many perishing from in the freezing cold waters around -2 Celsius in the Atlantic Ocean. So the facts, let's see how we are. The Titanic was never actually described as unsinkable. The Titanic was claimed by its builders to be practically unsinkable. It was a bold claim, but slightly less bold than the unsinkable claims that the movies have added to the story. The Titanic was at launch the largest object ever to move on water, but she was not designed to be the fastest. Cunard's Lusitania and Marianto were always going to be faster. Stories of the captors trying to make a speed record are without substance. Yeah, it was not designed to be a racing ship. It was designed to be a cruising ship, and it was not. And there were ships out there too that were faster, particularly for transatlantic crossings. The Titanic had a swimming pool on board. The accommodation of the Titanic was luxurious and spacious. In the first class, there were many new attractions such as squash courts, a Turkish bath, a gymnasium, a barber shop, and also the first swimming pool on board. Some would say that swimming pool became the whole ship at one stage, which is not good. And the water was a little chilly. Even the cheaper third-class cabins were of a better standard than those in other liners. Nevertheless, there were more luxurious and spectacular liners in operation at the time. The Titanic was designed to be a large-capacity workhorse on a commercially lucrative but also competitive route. The Titanic had two sister ships. Yes, it did. The RMS Olympic launched in 1910 and scrapped in 1935, and also the HMS Britannic, launched in 1914 and sunk by a mine on 21st of November 1916 by the Germans. The Titanic carried post. The reason the Titanic is often referred to as RMS Titanic is because the RMS stands for Royal Mail Ship, and that's actually quite important because being a mail ship, whenever there was rations of coal, that would have given a slight priority. There were only enough lifeboats to fill a third of the people. There were 20 lifeboats on board, which would have held the capacity of 1,000. Meanwhile, the capacity of the Titanic was 3,320 people. The Titanic was a mighty ship indeed, but how did it measure up to other great liners of her age? She was 852 feet long, overall length was 882 feet, the breadth was 92 feet, so it was basically the length of a football pitch wide. It was 15, almost 60 feet from top to bottom, and it weighed 46,329 tons. It had 10 decks, 2 engines, 2 triple expansion 8-cylinder engines, and 1 low pressure turbine. It had 6,906 horsepower, a total horsepower of 46,000. Its service speed was 21 knots, and it had an estimated top speed of 23 to 24 knots. So if it gets to 23 or 24, it's pushing it, and there were other liners that did go faster than that. First class, 735. Second class, 674. And third class, 1,126, and a crew of 885. Approximately 1,500 people, estimated 815 passengers, and 688 crew. Bear this in mind, because we are going to be looking at classes of people that died soon. 815 passengers, 688 crew, which tells you that the crew were expendable. Right, the timeline. She was laid down. That's whenever they began building her in 1909. She was launched in 1911. So that's a couple of years to build her. She was completed in 1912 because she gets launched, she goes out, she does sea trials, she comes back and she gets, here's the sea trials, Belfast Lock in the Irish Sea. Interestingly, on her sea trials, it was found that she had quite a tight turning circle and navigated quite well. On the 10th of April, she set sail from Southampton on her maiden voyage to New York via Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, Ireland. 10th of April, she arrived in Cherbourg. 10th of April, she sailed from Cherbourg. 11th of April, she arrived in Queenstown. 11th of April, she sailed from Queenstown. And then they went out to the sea. And on the 14th of April, we got the first ice warning. And then we had a collision with an iceberg at approximately 23:40. On April 15th at 1:45 in the morning, a wireless call for assistance, first transmission using the code CQD. The transmission was altered to the new code of SAS, SOS, the first use of that code by a passenger liner. Its last transmission was at 10 minutes past 2, and she found her split in half and went all the way down at 20 past 2. And 2 hours later, the first lifeboat was picked up by the Carpathia. And on the 18th of April, the Carpathia docked in New York. On the 1st of September, 1st September 1985, Titanic wreck site was located. So there's all the info. Oh, fuck yes. That would have been good. That would have worked. Yeah, the crew was the largest demographic. Now, the next thing that I'm going to bring up is the demographic of the people who died. Now, while I'm pulling this up, we already know that it's crew. We've got that. That's locked in. We know that. Now, what I want you to put in while I'm getting this up is what class of passenger suffered the most casualties. First class, second class, steerage. What were the class that were condemned to die? Because we keep being told in all the stories about this, the people drowned by class. Open link. Can I make this larger? The people at the bottom, obvious. I think it. Right, here we go. We're about to find out. Share screen. Yep, here we go. Hollywood actors. Here we go. Survival rates by class. Of the 2,223 passengers of the Titanic, only 706 survived, leaving 1,517 dead. The largest percentage of survivors were first class passengers, followed by second class, and finally third class. There's a fourth. We're going to class crew as fourth class, and we're going to class the people that died most as fifth class. The most of the deaths were due to hypothermia and the freezing water, which would cause death in less than 15 minutes. Six of the seven children in first class survived. All of the children in second class survived, whereas only 34% were saved in third class. 34% of the third class children survived. Four first class women died. 86% of women survived in second class, and less than half survived in third class. Overall, only 20% of the men survived. I'll say that again. Overall, over 20% of the men survived, compared to nearly 70% of the women. The first class men were 4 times as likely to survive as second class men, and twice as likely to survive as third class men. Another disparity is that the greater percentage of British passengers died than American passengers. Some sources claim this could be because many Britons of the time were too polite and queued rather than to force and elbow their way into lifeboats, as some Americans did. The Captain Edward John Smith shouted, "Be British, boys. Be British. Yeah, fucking go ahead. Be British. Be a man. Have a go at breathing fucking seawater." As the ocean liner went down, according to witnesses, as shown in the graph below, the survival rate of third-class children was smaller than that of first-class men. I'm going to... One moment, I'm going to get that graph a little larger. I think. Hold on. Finder. Graph. Boom, boom, boom. Back to StreamYard. I'll take you off. I'm going to share screen. Window. Share. There we go. This is a percentage of the people that survived. Men second class, very few. Men third class, slightly more. Men crew, very low. This is all below 20%. Men first class, you're hitting up to about 30%. Now, what I will say is that there was a whole bunch of men who were in first class and their wives refused to get on the lifeboats without them. And quite a few of these men eventually killed themselves because of the shame of surviving. Children third class were slightly higher percentage. Women third class are up to about 42-43% here. We are told that they died by class, yet a third class woman was more likely to survive than a man in first, second, or third class. Women second class, over 80%. Women crew, over 80%. Men crew, 20%. Women first class, you're up to over 90%. Children second class and children first class, we are up nearly 100%. Now, nobody is saying that these children should not have been saved first. But this lays bare a really large fucking problem. And that everything that we are told about this is that the third class people died. was the fifth class people died, and the fifth class people were men as a group, and that is we're going to need a bigger boat. Whoops, wrong movie. Yeah. Yep, they died by age and sex. Yeah, that's not confirmed, but there is a story about somebody that survived uh, by blowing on a whistle and whatnot and getting pulled in. And that there was a few of them that were clinging to one of the upturned collapsible boats. So there you go. There's a big chunk of your story there that you've been given misinformation about. The facts are the facts. Now, going to remove that. What else? Okay, I'm going to quickly address a couple of myths. One of them is that the ship that went out was not indeed the Titanic. I can tell you, I have spoke to quite a few shipyard workers who were there working in the shipyard in the 60s and the 70s, and they got the stories from the old hands who got the stories from the old hands. There is no way in hell the Titanic got switched for any other ship. It simply would not have been possible. Quite apart from anything else, these men have to work in this boat, and you tend to know what you've built. And the ships were all slightly different. And add on to that the small problem that all through any of you that have ever been on a large ship, you'll see that there's pipes running along here, there, and everywhere. Well, it turns out that every so often along those pipes, you need to put a marker on it. It's painted on. The sign writer comes along with a little bit of paint and paints on it what the pipe's for, where it came from, whether it's a steam pipe, whether it's a pipe that's carrying water, whatever it is, because if you ever need to do anything with it in an emergency, you need to know exactly what the fuck it is. And they all had not only what the purpose of the pipe was, but RMS Titanic written on it. And there ain't no way anybody went round and fucking took all that paint off and replaced it with the name of another ship. It just did not happen. The Titanic that went out is the Titanic that got built. It stayed with the same ship number. It stayed with the same thing. That is not true. One thing I will say is that when it went out, it did have a fire in one of its coal holes, which may or may not have weakened the hull. However, fire or no fire, weaker hull, not a weaker hull, it still doesn't ship unless it hits that fucking iceberg. The idea of it being a insurance job is looking very, very, very unlikely. I would never rule it out, but it does not look very likely. Sorry for all the conspiracy theorists, but I don't think that happened. Now, the other thing I want to address is the film, The Titanic, with Jack and Rose. I've got issues. The first one is, had they took that lifeboat, had Rose took that life jacket off, which she no longer needed, because she was floating on top of the fucking door, and put that underneath the door, it would have, or any of the other life jackets that were just knocking about attached to dead people, just take the life jacket off and those people will disappear. And you can put those underneath the door and it will give you more buoyancy and get him out of the water. The other thing is, the Titanic is sold to us as a romance story of Rose, who spent the rest of her life pining for Jack. And every night in my dreams, I touch you, I feel you. Yeah, she fucking also married. So she was in bed with her husband every night, dreaming of Jack. Great. Really fucking brilliant. And you know what? That man had a job. And did he never think, did he go, Rose, I have to work very hard. It's manual labor. My back hurts. If only you had like a fucking £1,000,000 diamond that you could sell so as we could live a nice life. No, 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 no. She just fucking hung on to that. While she dreamt about her fucking previous lover that she slept with fucking on a one night stand on the boat. And then we come to the very end. She's denied him the use of the money. She's denied herself the use of the money. And then just came to the end of her life. And, I'm sure his ghost looking down and thinking, that really expensive diamond that you've got, could you give it to my granddaughter so she's got a really good life? But no, fucks it in the sea. And that's romantic. Fuck away off. It's the least romantic film in the bastard world. Nothing romantic about that whatsoever. And therefore, I shall end my rant on that subject. I will check the comments. Yeah, it probably would. Oh, the best bit of the whole film was whenever somebody jumps off the back and hits the propeller on the way down. That was fucking yep. Right. Nah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. And by the way, I am aware of there's this film's quite old. A lot of people have made those points before, but I wanted to give my 2 pence worth about that. Now, I'm going to stop sharing that, and we're going to have a musical interlude because fuck me, an hour and 20 in, and we have not done any musical interluding, and we do have a good one. Just getting this sourcing the video. It's going to be Summertime Blues by Eddie Cochran. Here we go. Budgie Burger, enjoy. Here we go. Eddie Cochran, Summertime Blues. Was Summertime Blues by Mr. Eddie Cochran. And why are we doing Eddie Cochran tonight? I will tell you why. We shall share that screen. Yeah, but the Stray Cats also have better hair products. That was quite the awesome quiff. Yeah, old time rock and roll. American rock star Eddie Cochran died during the afternoon of Easter Sunday, 17th of April 1960. His death in St Martin's Hospital in Bath came as a result of injuries sustained in a car crash just outside Chippenham late the night before. Eddie and his great friend Jim Vincent had been touring the UK since mid-January on a package tour that had created a sensation amongst UK rock and roll fans. Not one but two genuine American rock and roll stars, crisscrossing the UK and even making TV and radio appearances. By then, the first flush of raw rock and roll was long gone, so the sight and sound of Gene and Eddie was an antidote to the blandness of much pop music at the time. They were nothing short of a revelation, Eddie in particular. Often described as James Dean with a guitar. I'll let you into a secret. Whenever I was growing up, Eddie Cochran and James Dean were my idols. That was Eddie was my musical idol, and James Dean was my film idol as a young rockabilly in Belfast. Eddie Cochran had everything going for him. A young, good-looking guy, hugely talented musician who as well played stunning guitar, could also handle bass and drums, and most unusually for those times, also wrote his own songs. Two of which, Summertime Blues and Come On Everybody, has been a huge hit today, nearly 50 years on, and are regarded as classics of the genre. I don't even... Right. Eddie had arrived in the UK on the 10th of January 1960 to join a UK tour with Gene Vincent, which had already been on the road since before Christmas. It was promoted by Top Pop and Persio, Larry Baines, and the support acts and musicians were all young UK rock and rollers that Parnes had on their contract. These included, at various times along the tour, Billy Fury, Joe Brown, Georgie Frame, Vance Edgar, and Johnny Gillette. It was a long tour with a punishing schedule, and the British winter was not something that California resident Cochran was used to. So by the time they all rolled up at the Bristol Hippodrome on Monday 11th of April for a week-long residency, Eddie and his accompanying girlfriend, songwriter Sharon Sweeney, were looking forward to returning to the USA immediately afterwards. One moment, I need some liquid. Sorry about that. For the last week of the tour, Billy and Joe were off playing elsewhere, and the support acts including George Fame, Johnny Gillette, and also Tony Sheridan, who a year later would make a record in Germany with an unknown Liverpool group called the Beatles. So that's whenever this was all kicking off. After the final show on Saturday, 16th of April, and back at the Royal Hotel to collect their things, Eddie wanted a lift back to London with Johnny Gentle, who had driven himself to Bristol, but his car was full. There were no more trains at that time of night, so a taxi was called. Sometime after 11 p.m., a Ford Consul driven by George Martin, with Eddie, Gene, Sharon, and tour manager Pat Tompkins, set off for London. Eddie, Sharon, and Gene sat in the back with Tompkins next to the driver. Those were pre-M4 days, so Martin initially chose the old A4 down through Bath. But with it being a bad road, especially at night, he decided on a shortcut on the outskirts of Chippenham. Tompkins later recalled, "You come out from under the viaduct and come across a bridge in front of you. On your right is the A4, and then the bridge on your left is the A4 to London." Well, he saw the A4 and turned right, going the wrong way. When he saw the milestone, he realized he was going the wrong way and hit the brakes. It appears as if the car sped out of Chipping, trying to get back on the right route. Martin lost control at the bend at Roundon Hill, then a notorious accident black spot, and spun backwards into a concrete lamppost. The impact sent Eddie up into the roof and forced the rear door open, throwing him out onto the road. After the car came to a halt, Martin and Tompkins were able to walk away from the wreckage uninjured, but Jean and Sharon, along with Eddie, were lying on the grass verge. Jean had broken his collarbone, but fortunately for Sharon, she only suffered shock and bruising. However, the injuries to Eddie would prove fatal. The noise had brought local residents onto the scene. Dave Charles told the Wiltshire Times, "I was getting into bed when I heard a whistling outside, followed by a series of bumps and smashes. My first reaction was that it was a plane crash. I went outside and saw the wrecked car, several people lying about, and a large guitar and scattered photographs which had come from the open boot. I telephoned for an ambulance from the kiosk nearby." See, back then, people didn't have phones in their house. You had to go to a phone box, the nearest one. The first police on the scene included a young Wiltshire cadet called David Harmon, who with a name change to Dave D, became a highly successful pop star himself. The time of the accident can be accurately pinpointed, and no days the streetlights went out at midnight, and the ambulance from Chippenham arrived soon after in total darkness. The three were taken to St Martin's Hospital, but Eddie had suffered severe brain damage. He never regained consciousness and died at 10 minutes past 4 that afternoon. Like Buddy Holly, who had came our way 2 years earlier, Eddie was also a profound influence on the young aspiring British musicians. Joe Brown was often said to... I want to check StreamYard. Sorry, I just wanted to check that I hadn't muted or anything. Joe Brown has often said what a great and innovative guitar player Eddie was, introducing styles and techniques that have never been seen here before. George Fame totally credits Eddie with introducing the music of Ray Charles to the mainstream UK audience through his playing of Charles songs in his stage act. Shadows drummer Brian Brannett backed Eddie on a tour as a member of Marty Wilde's band, who were loaned out to Cochrane for some of the live dates, and also his BBC radio sessions for the Saturday Club show. Brian recalls Eddie showing him great drum tricks and said what a great player he was. Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey both idolised Eddie, and of course Summertime Blues was for years a Who stage favourite. Ironically, the biggest hits in the UK of Eddie's songs, Come On Everybody and Something Else, came in 1979 when the Sex Pistols took them both to number 3 in the charts. George Harrison had seen Eddie when the tour played at Liverpool and even acquired an important piece of Eddie memorabilia. In 1999, I worked on a radio series for the BBC World Service with Paul McCartney, looking back at his early rock and roll years. Paul recalled the then unknown Beatles touring Scotland backing Johnny Gentle in 1960. Eddie had given Gentle his stage shirt after the Bristol show, and following a week of pestering by the young Beatle, Johnny eventually passed it to George. Johnny came on came to one of Ali Cochrane's weekend their events in Chippingham, where I interviewed him live on air. He too said it was an amazing talent that he was, and also said he wished he'd kept that shirt. When someone dies young, it's always the eternal question, what would they have done in life? In the case of Eddie Cochran, I think there can be little doubt he would have been the first guitar hero of the 60s, with Clapton, Beck, Page, and Hendrix queuing up to play with him. Jimmy always said he wanted Eddie Cochran played at his funeral and got his wish. What makes this whole story even more poignant is just how young Eddie was when he took the seat in the car that night, just 21. Today, that dangerous bend riding hill, Chippingham, has long since been made safe. There's no longer any physical reminder of the tragedy, except for one thing: a plaque on the grass verge in memory of Eddie. It was erected by fans and unveiled at one of the chapel. Hmm, sorry. Uh, it was erected by fans and unveiled by one of Chippingham Eddie Cochran weekender events by Sharon Shealy on what was her first visit since that fateful night in Easter 1960. So there you go. Can we make this larger? No, we can't. But there's a little memorial. It's got the red guitar at 1938 to 1960. Eddie Cochran. And that is why we had the Eddie Cochran musical interlude this evening. Sorry, I'm just checking through the chat. Marty Wilde used to drive all the kids around and his and Jimmy at the local fetes. Yeah. Yeah. Marty Wilde is the father of Kim Wilde. There you go. And with that, I think we're going to do another musical interlude. And what would be fitting? Actually, we're going to have a little bit of Runaway Boys. Right. You have to wait till advertisements. One memento. Here we go. And this is where rock and roll. This would be the next iteration. Good stream 42. I was 2 years old when I learned. Yeah. There we go. We're going to have a bit of Stray Cats. This is where the music went to after that. This is Runaway Boys by the Stray Cats. There you go. That was Runaway Boys by the Stray Cats. Right. What are we doing now? Has anybody any questions about the Titanic? If so, please do put them in the comments. Yeah, one more beer. One more beer. Yeah. Anybody any questions about the Titanic or any of the conspiracies you heard and you want my opinion on that, please do stick them in the chat now. And I will answer them with whatever knowledge I have of the situation. And yeah, it is the from what I've been reading, they expected it to be in a lot better condition than they expected to be in a lot better condition than it was, and they also did not expect the amount of algae and other stuff that has grown on it. So there's that, and it is on its way to disintegrating. Yep. Do you want some ice for your gin and tonic, Captain? Yes, this is true. Uh, Vincent, no, that is a hard no. I've heard this from shipyard men. There is simply there was simply no way that whenever it went out in sea trials, people left tools and all, and those tools were still exactly where they were whenever it came back. There are issues such as all the sign writing and all the pipage and everything else. It would not have been possible to swap those two boats in any way, shape, or form without everyone knowing about it. The other thing is the people in the shipyard are they're sort of like magicians. They can make fucking anything disappear, including grand pianos. But they have all said that swapping those two boats would have been impossible. The boat that started life as the Titanic is the one that's the bottom of the Atlantic. That's definite. Uh, my understanding that time coal was phased out in preference for oil. Uh, there was a lot of reasons why they were moving from coal to oil. It wasn't just this Titanic, but it's it was a coal fired one that went. I say there was a fire in one of the coal holes, and there was a shortage of coal at the time whenever the Titanic went. There is a possibility that the fire in the coal hole left them with not enough coal, and that's why they kept steaming at night, which might have had a part to play in it, but it would have been minor. Yeah, the sister ship with the hole in it got fixed. It went out, had the collision, came back, got battered out, got fixed, and it stayed as I think it was the Olympic. I'm not 100% sure. There was the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. I think it was the Olympic, the one that crashed on its sea trials, but it was repaired and went out to sea. It stayed. There was no swappage. Yeah, the captain did. Interestingly, if you if you're the captain of a ship in White Star and you lose a bunch of equipment, that comes out of your wages. No wonder he went fucking down with the ship. Uh, I think, apart from anything else, the embarrassment of everything, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to deal with." The captain couldn't have left the ship before all of the passengers. That was just not on. So he was in there for the long run. Yeah, yeah. There inside a shipyard, there's not a lot that can't be fixed. You know, they built it from nothing. They put it back. You know, it's no one mugs off Celine Dion like that. Yeah, they're interesting, but I don't think there's a lot of truth to them. unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your comment, the idea to swap the boat and did it as an insurance job, it doesn't work. There's far too much work to be done. You know, you couldn't have done it without people knowing, and the people would have talked. But like when the Yanks didn't land on the moon and the Russians didn't call it. Yeah. Hello, Brad. I'm not sure, Anglo, but I know that the insurance did pay out on it. Yeah, it was made in Belfast. Uh, I know people whose would probably be their great grandfathers that built it. Uh, I worked with a guy that worked in the yard, and the the interesting thing is that there was a set of sinks that were made for the Titanic. You know, really nice porcelain sinks. You've done the wooden cabinets with the cupboards underneath, and wooden paneling above it with mirrors and all. And it was decided that it wasn't going to go onto the boat, and the foremen in the shipyard were still using that in their in the foreman's work washrooms until relatively recently. It may even still be happening. Nah, he probably didn't go because he was doing something making money. Smart stuff. Yeah, in all honesty, everything I've heard points to it being a fucking a disaster that had 5 or 6 different things that happened one after the other, and it just its first voyage was from Southampton, sailed from Belfast over to Southampton to make its first. Yeah, but these people made travel plans and cancelled them all the time. The problem with it is everybody knows about this one. We don't know about how many times those other people booked passage and never took it up. You know, it's hard to know. It's highly doubtful that people thought it was going to sink on the way. Yep. You know, so there we go. That was the Titanic stream. And with that, I'm going to place it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Brad James's poem again, and then I'm going to play us out with the England Day song. This is actually really fucking class. The icebergs are Jewish. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Right. Yeah. We're going to play Brad James's poem, "The Ballad of England" by Brad James, and then we're going to do the outro.
I sing a sonnet of this land, in part the depths of legacy. Cricket fields, Blackpool sand, are warm nubs of our memory. White cliffs, numinous, ancient, weighted by the souls of the Anglos. Our heritage, bound in sediment, is real blood and historic mythos. I rhyme a right of our country, intone collective recollections. Of old, the roots and our family, together and without invasions. Rolling hills, rivers, our very nature, towns, pubs, laws, country gardens, all a Magna Carta of a great culture. Never permit how it fades or hardens. I hum the hymns of our divine nation, of God-given home of birth, this soil. Sprouts oak, free branching passion. Acorns root our people through toil. Our spirits are linked and tied right here. There is no spare England to try again. Take naught from our land, are we clear? We'll weather the storm, clean from its rain. I bellow the ballad of England out loud. This realm of ours doth stay. With strength we make ourselves proud. We'll save England, there's no other way.
That is absolutely beautiful. Well done, Brad. Well done, Sansom, for the music and putting the images to it. That is an excellent project. I really love that. All I can say is well written. Yeah, it's very, very good. And I think I'm going to actually, one momento, I'm going to put the link to the England Day video of that YouTube studio. Right. Oops. I'll not get it like that. Which can't England Day. Got it. One momento. Here is the link to that video on the England Day channel. Please go over there, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give England Day a like and a subscribe. And yeah, and send that out, please. And if anybody else is sharing that video, would you do me a favor? Would you put fucking Brad's Substack link in your description, please? Yeah, anybody else that's fucking uploading that? Not naming any names, but if you're going to use somebody's content, fucking link them, please. You know who you are. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, that one of Brad's stands up as well as any Kipling's, in my humble opinion. And we are going to play out with the England Day song. One momento. There we go. This is the English. Now, I'm going to say it again. 2030 England Day duck race will indeed be in England. You'll all have the opportunity to find out where and when it is. Oh, I'm not going nuts. I think if it's a bit problematic. It's a good poem, but I do have issues with it. It's a little bit self-sacrifice. It's a little bit too self-sacrifice. It reminds me of fucking Jordan Peterson. But it is a good poem. My favorite clip line would be probably Saxon and Norman. But that's personal choice. But Kipling is fucking good. Nah. Yep. England Day 2030 duck race. Start putting a wee pound away. So you got money to go to it. When the Saxons began to hate, oh yes, as features in the Anglo-Saxon. Now, so have a think about the duck race for 2030. I'm going to put this on the stage. I'll put your comments on the screen, and this will be the outro. Yeah. Saxon Norman's gold. It is. Who are ye, in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way?
We are English. We come from the edge of Europe,
beyond which lies only water, ice and death. This is the place we made our home,
raised our cattle, planted the crops, evoked their gods from circles formed of stone, so those gods could witness us atone.
When Roman forces did invade, we fought as lions, refused to yield, and those we left out in the field, but the English, they were the seed.
Who adversity did propagate, an indomitable people who we would fight, toil and mock in equal measure, and find humour in our adversity, because that is our way. The battle-weary tribes besieged by Vikings,
banded as brothers with Angles, Jutes and Saxons, took some years of consideration
to produce our culture of toleration. The creation of the English nation at Stamford Bridge we won the day, but William was quickly on his way.
1066, the commutation brought the cursed Norman invasion. A ruling class they would impose until calls for Magna Carta arose. And to all the kings the message was sent: you only rule us by consent.
So what of the English, I hear you ask? You know us as the working class, the ones whose toil, blood and sweat brought you the greatest empire yet. So you should learn at your mother's knee of revolutions that number 3.
That number 3. 1, 2, 3.
Agricultural, where mechanised planting and harvesting was married to selective breeding, we created a food surplus, the envy of the world. Industrial, where we conjured cities to house factories inhabited by a well-equipped workforce to man the machines. This coupled to the ingenuity of English engineers who never found a problem without a solution. The third, the glorious one, that brought about civil and religious liberty, one rule for all, and the radical notion that a man should profit from his labours. But we are not greedy. We exported our language, our law, our sense of fair play. In our safe shipping lanes trade flows through never-ending day.
And when Britannia ruled the waves,
we used our power to free all slaves. We managed the world and allowed all others to travel in the social order we created with humour in adversity, because that is our way. Achievements we have too many to list. From this small kingdom God has kissed, we travelled the world from the highest mountain to Arctic's Kabatic, tundra and back again. The traces of our kindness are in our railway lines that transport the world to work, our compassion in the water systems that hydrates foreign soil.
We left everywhere better than we found it, because that is our way.
I could list another thing or two, like how we taught the world to queue, but I'll leave that for another occasion. It's time to have a celebration, admire the wonders of our creation. To our ancestors, homage we must pay for doing things the English way. For we are the English, and this is our day.
in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way.
We are the pilgrims, master. We shall go always that little bit further. It may be beyond that last blue mountain barred with snow, across that angry or glimmering sea. We are the English.
Every Englishman's house is his castle. So hoist your colours on the ramparts for England Day. Then down after St George's Day. We are English, and we'll be patriotic in an organised way.
Okay, just very quickly before we go, a couple of things. One is, Commander, email me 42rights at Yahoo. 42rights at yahoo.co.uk. In the description of every video and every live stream, scroll to the bottom, but you'll get my email address. Email me. Say, put in the subject, show invite, and I would definitely get you on. Not a problem. We just need to figure out the details and we'll get that done. The other one is, there's a person in that I don't recognize. Yep. Mr. Infidelity, I think. Sorry, dyslexia. I've got issues with trying to read that whole. Don't recognize you. Maybe a new name. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed. And if anybody happens to be new here, hit that subscribe button, please. I've been stuck at around about 1,050 for a very long time. It would be really nice to get another couple of subscribers. And on that subject, I really appreciate you people coming. The 20 people still here at the end of the show. Spending your Saturday nights with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. And with that being said and done, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. Good night. God bless. I'll see you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.